Over the next 10 minutes, we're going to focus on the big story of the day, the US heat wave threatening the 4th of July weekend as Europe also heats up again.
New York City will enter a heat emergency that will last through the 4th of July weekend. Temperatures will climb into the high 90s and triple digits.
Ridiculous. When I got in the car, it felt like I almost burned myself. Like, it was bad.
It's really, really humid, so it's killing us.
On July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech.
It's super hot. We are hot. Even being from Arkansas, we thought we could handle the heat, but it's been very warm.
It is just really, really oppressively hot out here.
We're just sweaty and fine with it.
Yeah.
Well, millions of people across the US are enduring dangerous heat and humidity, with temperatures expected to reach 100 degrees Fahrenheit across this 4th of July weekend. It's not just any 4th of July. This is America's 250th anniversary, and there are tons of events and celebrations planned across the US and also in the capital, where it is scorching. But President Trump says that won't hold him back.
This week, we look back on 250 years of glorious freedom, and we took so much time and so much effort. And by the way, on July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything. It's going to be 107.
Well, of course, America's birthday isn't the only major event that could be impacted by all of this heat. World Cup matches and a highly anticipated celebrity wedding in New York could also be affected, as the city's mayor hinted at.
My recommendation to all New Yorkers is to stay inside and stay cool. And if you happen to be getting married at Madison Square Garden, you will be staying inside and you will be staying cool. And I think it's a good example to set for the city at large.
And it's not just the US. Europe is heating up again, with wildfires in France and temperatures set to soar over the weekend in Spain and Portugal. So what sort of temperatures are we actually looking at in the US? Helen from BBC Weather has more.
Extreme heat warnings are still in force for much of the eastern half of North America. We've been tracking this heat wave all week. It's a dangerous heat because we're seeing temperatures that we haven't seen for some 10 to 14 years. For example, 100 degrees in New York on Thursday, but high humidity as well, making it even more dangerous when temperatures overnight don't drop much below 80 Fahrenheit. So that's 39 by day, about 27 by night. But the heat is going to trigger severe thunderstorms as well for the northern plains, the Midwest, towards the Great Lakes through the course of Friday evening, possibly causing impacts to the football as well. But the heat is likely to persist into July the 4th for the celebrations, so that dangerous heat ever present just becoming more limited in eastern areas by Sunday.
So that's what we're expecting. What do those sorts of temperatures actually feel like? Floyd Cush is in New York for us. And Floyd, what is temperatures that Helen was just speaking about, what does that feel like where you are?
Hi there, Matthew. Yeah, so it is hot. It's about 36 degrees Celsius here in New York, which is about 97 Fahrenheit, and it's sticky. It is difficult to be outdoors. Certainly in the shade, it's a little bit better, but as soon as you step into that direct sun, the heat is on. It is oppressive and difficult to be out here, not only here in New York, but right across the eastern US. In Washington, D.C., it's been much the same over the last day or so. Just difficult, oppressive heat to be in.
It really is stifling. A quick follow-up, though. We often hear it's 100 degrees, but for people who aren't in the US, they are asking, what is that in Celsius?
Yeah, so 100 degrees is about 38 degrees Celsius. So that gives you a pretty good idea of how hot it is. And we're due to hit that here in New York in the next couple of hours. And I can tell you, it's not nice to be in.
I'm sure that's true. Back to you in a moment, but Europe has seen record-breaking temperatures across the continent in June, and this weekend it's heating up yet again. France says it's recorded well over 2,000 excess deaths as a result of last month's blistering heat wave, And there have been intense wildfires now across the Mediterranean coast, with thousands of people already evacuated. So what is expected over the weekend? Our correspondents in Madrid and Lisbon have been explaining.
Here in Spain, areas down in the south and southwest of the country are expected to see the worst of the heat over the next few days. For example, the provinces of Badajoz and Sevilla are expected to see temperatures reaching up into the low 40s Celsius. And those two areas are among those which are on orange alert because of the heat. And the National Weather Agency has warned that because of the high temperatures over the coming days, there will be a particularly high risk of wildfires.
In Portugal, we're braced for at least another week of temperatures exceeding 40 degrees in large parts of the country. Fire risk is high and expected to worsen. By Monday, some 3/4 of mainland Portugal will be at maximum fire risk, according to forecasts. The government has declared a 4-day state of alert that puts police and other emergency services on a higher state of operational readiness. And it also brings in an automatic ban on certain activities such as the use of machinery in forested areas, bonfires and the use of fireworks.
Well, that's Europe. Let's head back to the US and the major events taking place during all of this heat this weekend, including those birthday celebrations for none other than the USA itself, as it marks 250 years since the Declaration of Independence. Floyd, are any of those celebrations going to be reined in because of the temperatures we're seeing?
Yeah, so as you said, Matthew, a huge number of celebrations right across the US for the 250 celebration. We are seeing a reducing in the hours in some of those celebrations in places like Philadelphia, but in Washington, D.C., those celebrations are going ahead. On Thursday, we saw a rehearsal for a concert. The public banned from attending that due to concerns about the heat, but that concert, which is due to go ahead tonight, is going ahead, and the Great American State Fair has been on the last couple of days and on today. The oppressive heat there has been deterring some people. Others have been battling it out. And as we heard from President Trump, he is going to make a record-long speech. So certainly things are still continuing. Authorities, though, deploying things like water stations, sending staff out, paramedics and nurses to ensure that people are coping with the heat and doing checks on people.
Yes, and all eyes also in the US on the World Cup and how the weather is affecting that tournament. Is North America in the height of summer the right location, and are those hydration breaks really necessary? Well, Neda Tawfik has more.
It's not just the competition heating up at the World Cup, it's the weather too. The U.S. this week will be under a heat dome that will see temperatures rise to more than 38 degrees Celsius or 101 degrees Fahrenheit. While things will cool down before the next match here at the New York-New Jersey Stadium on Sunday between Brazil and Norway, it's raised the question again. Should the final in the middle of summer be held here?
Oh my God, the heat is killing us. It's brutal.
Love the sun, just gotta avoid the burn on the top of the head.
What happens if the global heat index exceeds the threshold that the Global Players Union considers unsafe?
I've been talking a big game about why they've been doing these hydration breaks and how it's kind of pointless, but I think today it makes sense.
The final's going to be here and there's no air condition in this stadium. Do you think that was the smartest choice?
No, and they should all be at night. Even better.
To see them sweat it out?
Yes, that's part of the culture, right?
So what do you think? Did FIFA drop the ball on planning?
Well, last but not least on the list of major events in the US over the weekend, Taylor Swift's wedding. All eyes on Madison Square Gardens in New York, where her and Travis Kelce are expected to tie the knots. Let's go back to Floyd, because that's where he is. It is sweltering there. I should make the questions harder, but will it put the Swifties off trying to catch a glimpse?
Listen, Matthew, I don't think it will. The Swifties, they want to turn out, they want to see this, they are excited, and we have seen some Swifties come to enjoy the spectacle here at Madison Square Garden as we enter these last couple of hours before the big event is set to kick off. But the heat genuinely is concerning here, and as you heard earlier, Zoran Mamdani, the mayor of New York, taking serious measures to combat this dangerous heat, including deploying vans with paramedics and nurses to give out sunscreen and water. people around here are sweating, they're hot, especially in the sun, so it is of genuine concern. But I do think that that is not going to stop those fans from coming. For Taylor and Travis themselves and their many guests, they will be chauffeured here in their air-conditioned SUVs, and the stadium itself has air conditioning as well, so no concern for them there.
Floyd, thanks very much for taking us through that. So, sweltering heat in the US and in Europe, but why? Our environment correspondent Matt McGrath explains.
So the heat waves that are stifling the US and Europe right now are the product of what experts call heat domes. These are areas of high pressure that trap hot air in place for days at a time, driving up temperatures and posing a real threat to people and to infrastructure. Now, we've seen a lot of that recently in the UK and in Europe. In both May and June, we've seen record temperatures and record heat waves. El Niño is only just beginning, and it's not the main cause of these events. It's having some small influence. The real story here is decades and decades of greenhouse gas emissions. They've driven up the world's temperature so that when heat waves hit, they're starting from a much higher point, and they feel much worse as a result.
And that's all you need to know about the US and European heat waves.